So this is probably gonna be a tricky hole. This is where the battery used to sit, and it just kind of ate through there. Plus there was some animal's little nest here in the desert. So it's tricky because it's contoured. It kind of goes in and slopes up. If we look at the other side, you know, it's supposed to look like that. This is not going to be so beautiful, but it'll be close. So I built this piece, which is the first effort. So I'm going to tack that in, and then I've got to tackle this little more difficult edge here that kind of curves up. So I'll tack that in and we'll see how it looks. All right, it's getting there. So I got the first bead of tacks on here. I figure that's good for now. I'll move on to this and then finish the whole thing up and sand it. So there we go. All right, well, I'm super happy with that. 5 pieces later. So I'll continue tacking it up and clean it up. Time to start taking on this back. There's some pretty bad spots back here that I'll have to replace, but for now, I'm gonna try to replace this upper part, which is, you know, missing whole sections. So I've cut this out. That's coming out. And I've started working on a new piece. It's gonna go in here. Like the thus and such. It's funny, this piece is actually resourced from an old fluorescent light cover, but I used it because it had this nice lip already on it. So I thought that was a pretty good use. So I've managed to make this thing. It was pretty tricky and it's not beautiful, but with hand tools and the vise, that's pretty much as good as I could do. So I'll keep on this and bring you back. All right, it's in. And it's ugly as sin, but it is what it is. So ironically, the very reason I used this piece was this little lip. And I realized when I went to fit the piece in that not only does this piece bow this way, it bows that way. So I had to cut off the lip for the whole middle section and lower it so that it would be the right height against the latch. So in any case, here's what it is. But I'll put a new lip on there and clean it up. All right, well, that feels like some progress. So I got everything here in the back. Well, I shouldn't say everything, it's never everything. But I pretty much got this stitched up. So repaired this whole bottom that was completely rotten out across here. And I had to remove this lip and put it back on. So I just tacked it across here. And this guy, so what is that? 1, 2, 3 pieces. That's not too bad. This was really fiddly in here. And I had to do some bridge pieces in here because this was a little short, but that's a little. So, progress. I'll just clean up all these welds and then seal it up. And with a coat of paint, it'll look amazing. All right. All right, time to tackle these rocker panels. My strategy here is I'm going to drill out all these spot welds and then run the air hammer through here and try to separate that top. I think I'm just going to go for these seams, front and back, I mean, the reason this has to come out is pretty obvious. Hey, look, daylight. So, take a swing at it. We'll see how it goes. And voila. So that was a lot easier than I thought. Well, between this air hammer and this tool, I don't know what they call this, like a pneumatic sawzall. This thing is awesome. So between that, this guy, and drilling out all the holes and hammer and a screwdriver, we now have the rockers out. So, rusty fun. Well, now that the rocker's off, we can see what we're dealing with, and this is really problematic. So that's effectively a lip. It runs. Is that focusing? Yeah, there we go. Along here, and this has all been eaten out. And you can see where the floor comes in and then down, and that's welded to this piece here. But that's all eaten out below there. So I think the order of the day is literally, it's interesting. I think it's to take it off right here. That comes off. And then I weld in a new piece, a new skirt down here that the rocker would then weld to. I think that's it. All right, well, I'm gonna try some stuff. We'll be back. So what's probably gonna be one of the more challenging pieces of bodywork is this quarter panel in the back, where you can see the line is just munched. I'm pretty sure this significant one through here is a forklift. So my plan was to get at this from the back, because I have access through this area into there. Did that work? No, that did not work. But in any case, I just think it's going to be so much work to get through there. And my friend suggested you just cut it out, this whole thing, so that you can really work hammer and dolly on this for real. Get that line back, get it out, and get a nice piece of wood on it, you know, some movement. So I think the plan is to cut this and then out and then re-weld it back in and work hard to save these points for the regulator on the windshield and outlet. So that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. Well, I'll find out how much of a mistake or a success that was pretty soon. Again, this tool, the reciprocating saw, was amazing. Cut through that pretty well. All right, so now I get to attack that thing from the inside. All right. Well, for some, I don't know, under half an hour of banging around and cutting, that's a pretty good start. I mean, that is much better than before. There's actually a line there now. So I think the rest of this is pretty much just hammer and dolly, and probably a couple, I have a pull hammer type of setup. It might be needed for, I don't know, some of these, or I'm not sure. But that makes me feel good because I've got a couple on the other side that are pretty big, and that was pretty effective. There's a couple blows in there where it really popped out. I think that came through in the time lapse. So I've still got this, still has to come out more. But that's pretty good. So I'll keep at it.